Go Knights, go! 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 Welcome to Knights This Week with your host, Jason Banks. Superfan Jason Banks here. And on Knights This Week, we're going to take a look at the only game they played this week due to the Christmas break. We'll take a look at that game. It was just played 3 nights ago here on Wednesday night at Budweiser Gardens. And we're also going to introduce you to a new player that the Knights got. So let's get to Knights This Week, shall we? And tell you the Knights news of this week. Welcome to Knights This Week. And I might add, you wouldn't know this, but I might add this is my second time around doing this, because the first time I did it, I was not aware that I had not pressed the record button. Yeah, gotta love silly things like that or technology. But anyway, that is, we're taping now, and we're gonna bring in Knights This Week. The last one of this year. Not the last one of the season, but the last one of this calendar year. And I truly hope that all of you out there had a very Merry Christmas. And I wish you all the best in the new year. So let's hope for the best in the next year. And we'll see how far the Knights get in the new year. But first and foremost, let's introduce you to a new player the Knights got. He wasn't a trade pickup. He wasn't a waiver acquisition or anything. He was a free agent pickup. And he's a young kid. His name is Harrison Cottom. So let's get to that, shall we, first, and introduce you to Harrison Cottom of the London Knights. He is now a London Knight. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the London Knights, Harrison Cottom. All right. So let me give you a little bit of background on Harrison Cottom here. Okay. So Harrison Cottom comes from Burlington, Ontario. He has played 2 years of AA hockey. He played a second year of midget hockey as an undersized forward. No OHL team took a risk on him. And his AAA midget season, he played 31 games, scoring 5 goals and adding 10 assists. But at the beginning of this season, Harrison Cottom put on some weight. He grew a couple inches, and he caught on with the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League Junior B Niagara Falls Canucks. And as he caught on with the Niagara Falls Canucks, the puck just seemed to follow him. And by that I mean the puck started to go in the net. So Cottom has 22 goals in 32 games with the Niagara Falls Canucks. And heads were turning. Now, as it turns out, Harrison Cottom is friends with Knights blue liner Evan Bouchard, and they played minor hockey together. And through Bouchard, the Knights scouting staff contacted Cottom, went to watch him play, and then gave him a big invite to skate with the Knights at practice. Now, obviously, at practice, the Knights must have liked what they saw, because the rest is history, as they say, because they said, we like you, kid. You're a 17-year-old with a lot of potential, so we'd like to bring you aboard to the London Knights. So, Harrison Cottom is now a London Knight. I don't know how they're going to use him, whether they're going to play him on the fourth line sometimes, use him sparingly, whether he'll just kind of get some spot starts here or there and play a lot of time in Western Junior B. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But knowing the Knights, I'm sure they picked out a great player. And I think this guy's going to be a great player in the years to come for the Knights. So Harrison Cottom is a London Knight. Let's hear what Harrison Cottom had to say. Harrison Cottom said this: I hadn't given up. A lot of people on my minor midget AA team had given up because it's kind of hard to turn any heads at that level at that age. I always thought I could do something in hockey, so I just kept going. And he goes on to say this: I kept working on my game and I started to play really well in Niagara Falls, and I guess I started to turn heads here. It wasn't like a growth spurt. Obviously, I got bigger and stronger, and I put in a lot more work. I worked harder, focused on more than just the offensive part of my game, and it kind of figured out the rest of the spots that needed improvement. It started clicking. So, Harrison Cottam is now a London Knight. So, welcome aboard, kid. Hope you do well, and hope you enjoy the London Knights. They're a great organization, and we'll see in the new year if that's the only move the Knights make. Obviously, the Knights, I would think, with all the assets they have, would be looking to improve. Hopefully, maybe adding a couple of big players to their team that will enable them to get back to the Memorial Cup again and have a chance to defend that title they have. So, that is the player pickup that the Knights had in this week. Now let's get to the game this week that the Knights played. The Knights had a game on the Wednesday nighter, kind of a rare game. You don't see them play on Wednesday too often, especially Wednesday before the New Year's. But they did have a game after the Christmas break. And the Eastern Conference leading Oshawa Generals came into town to play the Knights. And obviously, I think that's a bit of a surprise to a lot of people. Oshawa did win the Memorial Cup 2 years ago, but last year they kind of had a rebuild year after that, and expected to be better this year, Oshawa, but to rise so quickly to the top of the standings may be a little bit too quickly. But nevertheless, they came into town to take on the London Knights, and the London Knights played a very good game against the Oshawa Generals. Even though Oshawa jumps out to a quick lead in this game and actually goes ahead 2-0 in this game, London still played better than them. Outshot them in the first 10-6, outshot them in the second 16-9, outshot them in the third 13-10 on the Knights. So a 39-25 edge for the Knights in the game. But Oshawa got going first in this one. Let's take a look at the scoring summary, shall we, for this one. Oshawa got on the goal mark at the 15-15 mark at the first when Mitchell Vando Sample, a London native, actually, and there has been some rumors out there that the Knights might be inquiring about Mitchell Vando Sample to acquire him. I don't know, but he did score the first goal, his 15th, from Eric Henderson and Alex DiCarlo to put the Generals ahead 1-0. And then at the second period, and at the 7:30 mark of the second, they added on to that to make it 2-0. Dominic Camisho got his 10th goal of the season to make it 2-0 Oshawa. But then this is where the Knights start to come. And as we know, the Knights can come at you in waves and just score in bunches. And that is what they did. At the 10:03 mark of the second, Alex Formanton got his 9th goal of the season. And he is having a very good season for himself. And he is a very good, talented young player. I'm sure you're going to hear his name in the future. He will be here next year, probably being one of the stars of this team. But he got his 9th goal of the season. Nicholas Matanen and Adrian Carbonera got the assists to make it 2-1. And then at the 15:07 mark on the power play, Cliff Poo got his 22nd goal of the season. Victor Mete, Evan Bouchard get the assists on that goal to tie the game up at 2. Cliff Poo having an outstanding season for the Knights. 22 goals already for him. What a great season he's having. Of course, he took great strides last year, and he is just that much better this year. And he is a great player for the Knights. And then the go-ahead goal came from another person having a very good season. That's Sam Militic getting his 21st goal of the season. So two guys in the 20-plus range for the Knights. Victor Mete got the lone assist on it at the 17:43 mark to make it 3-2 for the Knights after 2. In the third period, Oshawa ties it again. Medrick Mercier got his 11th goal of the season from Dominic Camisho on the power play at the at the 7:13 mark of the third to make it 3-3. But then the Knights would go ahead on a go-ahead winning goal by Knights defenseman Evan Bouchard on the power play. And it was a howitzer from Bouchard. It was just a blast from the point on the power play. Went through everybody. Only his second goal of the season, but both goals that Evan Bouchard has scored, he's made the most of it because they've both been game-winning goals. So way to go, Evan. Got a second goal of the season from Cliff Pugh and Victor Mete at the 11:32 mark. And yes, if you've heard Victor Mete's name a lot in these goals, that's because you have. He was in on every goal except the first one. An outstanding season and night by Victor Mete. 11:32 put the Knights ahead. And then Oshawa Poser goalie late, but at the 19:02 mark, Cliff Pugh got an empty net insurance goal, his 23rd of the season, assisted by Brandon Crawley and Victor Mete at the 19:02 mark to make it 5-3, and that was your final in this one, 5-3, the Knights over the Oshawa Generals. And the most significant thing about this victory is this win put the Knights ahead of the Erie Otters again by a point, but still behind the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds by a point, as the Sioux Greyhounds continue to turn everybody's heads. Did anybody expect that Sault Ste. Marie would be this good this year? I didn't see that coming. I don't think a lot of people did, but here they are with the most points in the OHL, the Sioux Greyhounds. But nevertheless, the Knights do have 2 games in hand on them, and they still play them a couple more times this year as well. So, the Knights now just slightly behind the Sioux Greyhounds, and slightly ahead of the Erie Otters and the Windsor Spitfires as well. So, let's get to the game stars of this game. And they were all from your London Knights. As the third star was Victor Mete with the 4 assists that I talked about. Evan Bouchard got an assist and a winning goal to be the second star. And the first star of the game was Adrian Carbonera of the London Knights. Now, I don't know who picked these stars because Adrian Carbonera only got an assist on the night, and Victor Mete got 4 points. Those should be reversed. Victor Mete should be the first star of this game, but according to the stats, he is the third star. Okay. But anyway, all London Knights stars in this game as they win 5-3 over Oshawa. Now let's get to the updated record and standings. I've already kind of talked about the standings a bit, but let's get to what the London Knights record is with this win. So the London Knights, with this win over the Oshawa Generals, now still only have 5 regulation losses, and this is in 33 games, folks. So they are doing very good. Their record is 23 wins, 5 losses, 2 overtime losses, 3 shootout losses for a total of 51 points. So they are ahead of the Erie Otters by a point, but behind the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds by a point. And how close is that, folks? And how many points does Windsor have? Windsor's up there at 49 points. So those are by far your top 4 teams, and wouldn't be surprised to see those top 4 teams as your final 4 teams in the Western Conference in the playoffs, probably. But the London Knights definitely, I think, are still the team to beat, and if they add some players to that team, I think they will clearly be the team to beat come spring. So let's take a look. Gave you the updated standings now. Trade deadline is, I believe, the 10th of January. So once the World Juniors are done and they come back from the World Juniors, there'll be the trade deadline that will be coming up quickly. lots of names being rumored around Nightland. Jeremy Bracco's name from Kitchener is coming up a lot, and he is in the top 5 in scoring, so he may be a good fit. Mitchell Stevens' name of Saginaw has come up. I have heard the defenseman's name from Flint Peters' name coming up. So lots of names being rumored out there. We'll see what the Knights do. But I think the Knights are going to make a big move, and I think you're going to see them make a big move or two to solidify that team of theirs. So time will tell. Let me see if there's anything else. Why don't we just talk about the World Juniors briefly? And how about this shocker for you? How about this shocker? Yesterday, Switzerland beat Denmark, which wasn't really a shocking result, but the shocking thing about that is it officially knocks Finland into last place in that pool. Finland won the World Juniors last year. Finland has always had a good team, but they're not going to even make the medal round. They're going to be in the relegation round. Wow. That's the first time in history that's actually happened that a team has won the World Juniors the year before and then been relegated the next year. So, bit of a head scratcher on that one. That's a bit of a shocker. And on our front, big game today. Team Canada will play Team USA to decide first place in their pool. And more than likely, Team Canada is going to be going up against the Knights' #1 puck stopper, Tyler Parsons, playing for Team USA. So, that's going to be a pretty good game, I think. Be interesting to see who comes out on top of that one. But that's a little bit of a World Junior update for you. But this has been Knights This Week with your host, Jason Banks. And as I always do on Knights This Week to end it, let's do the Knights dance to end Knights This Week. Next week, we'll be back again, and we'll have a couple more games than this week to recap for you. But this has been Knights This Week with your host, Jason Banks. All right, here we go, folks. Thank you for watching Knights This Week, and please leave comments below if you would like. Please watch my videos because they're really cool videos. So this has been your host, Jason Banks. This has been Knights This Week. Until next week, take care and go Knights go!